Hey, everybody. It's good to see you guys here in Mayberry tonight. I hope everybody is having a good time. It's in the chat room. Let me pull up the chat room. I don't have it open. So it's good to see you guys. Hope you've had a good week so far. Yeah, it's just Monday. If it started off bad, that's a that's a bad sign. That is a bad sign. Let's play this music in the background. There we go. All right. So
The Andy
that music
Griffith
will get us
Show,
going.
starring Andy Griffith, with Ronnie Howard. Also starring Don Knotts.
All right, so I hope you guys are ready to go. We've got several things going on this week. And of course, the big thing is going to be the Mayberry Meetup up in Mount Airy, North Carolina. See a lot of folks in the chat room. Let me see who's in here. I'll tell you all. I feel like it's romper room when I do this. But let's see. I see Jane and Rascal. See Sarah, Upchurch, Emmett. Emmett's here every week. Always good to see Emmett. Sarah's here almost every week too, I guess. Let's see. Chris is here. Uber Fife, he's a regular, and Johnny Paul Jason and Gone Pile. That's who I see in the chat room right now. So we got a few folks missing that are usually in here with us, but we still got 15 people, counting myself. So it's good to see everybody. Tonight we're going to be doing an episode about Emmett's Fix-It Shop Talk. Okay, so that's the name. Let's see, what am I going to call this? Let's see, questions and answers, maybe? Questions and comments? I don't know. I think I'll just call it Fix-It Shop Talk. How about that? Fix-It Shop Talk. There we go. All right, so this one is from 1997. Wow. Got folks going on. So Colin, I see that looks like Colin came in. Good to see Colin in the room as well. So let me get, let's see, get us a little music playing in the background here. It sounds better with a little bit of music back there. So we're going to be talking about Emmett's Fix-It Shop Talk, which was a regular segment in the Bullet for years. And we've never really gone into those, but especially questions and answers about the Andy Griffith Show. So we ought to have a good time reading through those and visiting with one another. Everybody will be able to, pick up on their Mayberry trivia. All right. So I guess if everybody's ready, we'll get started. After the show today, we're going to be going over, it's going to be tape 2 from, what are we doing? Mayberry Days 2005, not tape, but DVD number 2 from Colonel Tim's Talent Time. I have no idea what's on there, but I hope you guys are going to enjoy catching up with me, seeing what's going on. Let's see. Who else is in the chat room? Have I missed anybody? Nope, nobody else came in. I thought y'all said Colin was in here. I don't see Colin. Oh, nope. Yep, there's Colin. I see him now. All right, Colin, it's good to see you. I know Colin's heading to the Mayberry Meetup. We've got about 30 some odd people heading to the Mayberry Meetup. So we're going to have a big time in Mount Airy. Roy's looking in his magic mirror. That's right. Looks like romper room. All right. I believe we're ready to get this thing rolling. What do you think? All right, so we're going to get the show rolling and get this thing done so we can see what else we got to do on the backside. So can I actually see you? Only if I hold up my, let's see. I think this would work for the internet better. I hold up my CD case thing and I can see. Look, you need to be dressed up a little nicer than that when you come in here. There's Lydia. She just came in. So you guys in the chat room. Have a good time, and we'll get this show on the road. All right. So let me cover you up, and we'll see y'all in a little while. Dun, 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 dun. Gonna take a drink here from my Mule Day. I should show you this. I shouldn't be just covering you up. From my Mule Day a cup. I don't even know what year this is from, but I still drink out of it. Mule Day, Gordo, Alabama. All right. Let's get this thing going. Get that ice out of my mouth. All right, I'm ready. I'm all set. Let's see. We're going to call this Fix-It Shop Talk. Boom. I don't think I've ever called one that before because I don't remember going through it. So we'll just assume that's a new name. All right, folks, enjoy yourself visiting with one another, and I'll see you on the backside. Me they. Okay. Batteries to power. Turbines to speed. Ready to move out. Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 337. Fix-It Shop Talk. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at Weaver's Department Store. Drop by over at weaversdepartmentstore.com and pick up some of your favorite Mayberry items. They have all kinds of new stuff right now, a bunch of new t-shirts. It's summertime. Head over there and check it out. We also have the 2016 Andy Griffith Show wall calendar. So head over and check out all the new items, new t-shirts, Barney's No Jerk, all kinds of stuff at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. Thank you for your support. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Houston, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting, and it is always great to be here in Mayberry with you guys. I always have such fun just being able to visit and just spend a little bit of time talking about the Andy Griffith Show, my favorite. We've been doing this for a long time, but not as long as The Bullet, the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Rogers Club's official newsletter has been going out. It was originally The Bullet and then eventually became the e-bullet. So now you get the e-bullet, which is delivered directly to you. But if you're old like me, you have copies of the original bullet. Boom, there they are. I got it right here in my hand. There you can hear it flopping around. This issue is from November the 15th, 1997. Has a picture of Betty Lynn on one side and Bernard Fox on the other. And now what we're going to be talking about, this is something I don't think we've ever done on the podcast because we've done stuff out of the bullet before, but we've never actually done these. Jim Clark, the presiding goober of the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Rogers Club, had a segment in the bullet that was called Emmett's Fix-It Shop Talk. And Emmett's Fix-It Shop Talk was a great segment that he did in there, and it was a forum for readers' questions and comments. So people would write in to the Rio and Watchers Club, to Emmett, to Dear Fix-It Shop, and the Fix-It Shop would answer the questions that were asked by folks that wrote in. I thought this would be a really fun thing to do here on the podcast because, like I said, this is from 1997. So I believe even if you read this back in 97, it being, 18 years later, is that right? Yeah. You might not remember. You might not. It's not quite 18 years, but November would be. So you might not remember the answers to some of these questions. So we're going to check into them again and see what Emmett's questions were, or what the questions he got and the answers that Jim Clark came up with. So let's get a little background music because we need some music for that. How about this one? That's a little bit fast for Fix-It Shop Talk. Let's try another one. Oh, there we go. That's better. Still just about as fast, but let's have some fun with Emmett's Fix-It Shop Talk. Thank you, Jim Clark, for allowing us to do these things. So let's head over to Emmett's Fix-It Shop and see what's been going on over there with Emmett and the boys. They've been getting some questions and answers. So let's go and check out what we've got. Let's see. Our first question to the Fix-It Shop was, in the episode Opie the Birdman, my favorite, where did the idea for that particular storyline come from? Was the dead bird real? And where did the baby birds come from, and what kind were they? Wow, there's some questions. So we got multiple questions on our very first question here to Emmett's Fix-It Shop. And the response from the Fix-It Shop is, in Professor Brower's class, which you guys may remember that Neil Brower, we've had him on the podcast before, in Professor Brower's class column that appeared in the October 3rd, 1995 issue of the Bullet, Opie the Birdman writer, Harvey the Bullock, told Neil Brower this. He said, quote, "My memories about the origin are unclear. I'm uncertain whether or not the story originated from the Griffith Show seminars, wherein, half dozen writers would meet 2 or 3 days in the off season with Aaron Rubin, Sheldon Leonard, and sometimes Andy to collectively pitch story ideas, or it may have been an individual story idea that I pitched to Aaron. However, I know it was one of Aaron's favorites, and he scheduled it to open one season. Many fans and critics also rate Opie the Birdman among their very favorites. The episode was also ranked as the 24th best television episode of all time in a recent TV Guide listing. Of course, the Andy Griffith Show fans think the Birdman should have been ranked even higher, and several other Andy Griffith Show episodes should have easily joined it in the top 100, though none did. But that's another can of worms we'd rather not get into, even though Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod would surely not have minded if we did. All right, the bird playing the mother bird was not killed. Just so rest yourself there. It was not killed. The dead bird was portrayed. It was portrayed by either a stuffed bird that died earlier or by a fake bird. Yeah, we never really get the opportunity to ask Ron Howard about his memory of the bird, but someday we will. As for the type of bird, the mother bird looks like a mockingbird to some people. That would be nice to have as a tip of the hat to Harper Lee, if it were the case. But keen Mayberry observer Paul Mulick thinks that maybe the tail feathers weren't long enough to be a mockingbird. As for the baby birds, it's really hard to say for sure what kind they are. They could be baby lake loons, as far as we know. They didn't look red-crested, but I threw that in, not the answer. More than likely, the production assistant in charge of finding birds simply borrowed whatever baby birds were available that week at the local nature center or zoo. Of course, there were probably at least 2 sets of baby birds used. One trio for the early scenes and another for when the birds flew away. Maybe there's an ornithologist, I hope I said that right, a bird studier, among our listeners and readers who can shed light on the variety of birds. Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod wait for information about their family tree with bait breath. All right. So our next question, it says, Dear Fix-It Shop. Dear Fix-It Shop. In the episode Big Brother, that was episode number 217 of the Andy Griffith Show, a teenager, and that's a color episode, calm down. A teenager named Tommy Parker is played by an actor named Scott Lane. My wife believes he resembles a young Nathan Lane from Broadway and screen fame. Is this indeed him, or maybe his brother? That question came to us from Gary Matthews from Morristown, Tennessee. All right. So was it Nathan Lane? Now, you guys may or may not remember Nathan Lane. And Nathan Lane, he was in The Birdcage and some other movies like that. He did something, I forgot, I think Birdcage, was Robin Williams in that one? Anyway, he was in that. Well, Scott Lane, or Tommy Parker, who played the brother of the girl that Howard Sprague started liking. He came over to be a big brother to Tommy, to this Tommy Parker. But Howard really liked his sister, who's played by same actress who plays Luann Poovey, Elizabeth McCrae on Gomer Pyle. Okay, so Scott Lane was the actor's name. Now, Scott Lane, I did a little looking for this and was able to find some stuff. But before we get into that, let's see what the Fix-It Shop has to say, because, their answers are probably better than mine. So let's head back here. This is a response from the Fix-It Shop. Jim says, we have not been able to locate an actor named Scott Lane as still being registered in the Screen Actors Guild. Now, remember, this was in 1997. Okay, so they were trying to find out, Jim was, if Scott Lane was Nathan Lane or related. Our research did not turn up a brother for actor Nathan Lane, perhaps best known for his role in The Birdcage with Robin Williams. Oh, I was right. Who will see enough, or we do, however, see enough resemblance between the Big Brothers actor and Nathan Lane to wonder if there's a connection between the two. Maybe another reader will be able to set the record straight. So I did a little bit more research because, back in 97, we didn't have as much internet capability as we do now. So I went out and looked up information about Nathan Lane, and on the Wikipedia article about Nathan Lane, I did find out he has two brothers. One's brother's name is Daniel Jr. and the other is Robert. So neither is Scott. Okay. I also looked up Scott Lane in the Internet Movie Database, IMDb. Turns out Scott Lane went by the name Edmund Lane, and he passed away December 12th, 2011. His real name was Scott Barry Lane, B-A-R-R-Y, Barry, Scott Barry Lane. He was born January 27th, 1951 in New York City. He was an actor and a writer, and it was indeed him who appeared as Scott Lane, because that was his name, Scott Lane, but he went by Edmund later in his life, who appeared on the Andy Griffith Show. So Edmund Lane and Scott Lane, same person, but not the same person as Nathan Lane. Okay. All right. So that was, I just clear that up for you there, because I did check also, because I wanted to make sure, because, maybe names had changed, but Nathan Lane was born in New Jersey. So he was from New Jersey. So I wondered, but they indeed were not the same person. Does not mean they may not have been related. So good eye to those who thought that they looked similar. All right. Next question. Dear Fix-It Shop. Dear Fix-It Shop. That's a good way to start. I know the Andy Griffith Show was filmed at Desilu Studios. So the soundstage for the show was the soundstage for the show on what is now the Paramount lot. Also, where exactly was the 40-acre shooting area located? Does it still exist for shooting purposes today? If so, do any of the buildings used on the Andy Griffith Show still exist? This is from Brandon out in Texas, Dallas, Texas. All right. So the answer to this one is Desilu Studios. It was home to the Andy Griffith Show, the Danny Thomas Show, the Dick Van Dyke Show, Gomer Pyle USMC, I Love Lucy, and many others. Were located at, it was located at 846 Cahuenga Boulevard in Los Angeles. The Andy Griffith Show was filmed on sound stages 1 and 2. The studios had been built during World War II and had become pretty run down by the time the Andy Griffith Show completed its run. It had deteriorated so much that by the time Mayberry RFD was filming, they had to switch in mid-series to Warner Brothers lot. Okay. For a while after that, Chahanga Studios were used mostly for storage. Today, the facilities are part of Renmar Studios. It's REN-MAR Studios, which rents out its sound stages to others and makes no films of its own. Renmar has no connection to Paramount Studios. Now, this is the case back in 1997. Okay, so this may not be true now. It seems like it's actually Red Studios that has it now, but I didn't check on that. 40 Acres was actually part of the old MGM lot at Culver City. Scenes used using the exteriors of buildings were shot there. The lot no longer exists. As far as we've been able to determine, all the old Andy Griffith Show sets were destroyed. Even the Return to Mayberry sets were dismantled immediately after the filming in 1986. Oh, that hurts so bad. Isn't that terrible? We talked about Myers Lake a few weeks ago, and that is the one place you can still head out and check out and be part of Mayberry history yourself. Okay. All right. So here we have another question. This question is from Rick. And he says, I'm curious to know who was the announcer for the Andy Griffith Show. He's from Ohio, Rick from Ohio. The response from the Fix-It Shop says, Mayberry Minuteman, Dennis Hasty, and fellow Ohioan, not Hawaiian, Ohioan. Dennis is also from Ohio. Ferreted out the answer a while back to this question. The announcer was Colin Mail. He was a former radio announcer in Cincinnati who moved to Hollywood to be part of the motion picture business. Believe it or not, Colin Mail actually appears in an episode of the Andy Griffith Show. He played the game warden called Peterson in the episode, but listed as Wormster in the credits. In the episode Andy and Helen Have Their Day, episode number 140. He was also a singer on the Dottie Mack Show in the mid-50s and the MC of This Is Music, an ABC TV on ABC TV in the late 50s. So Colin Mail. You may not have known that. There's a lot of this stuff I have heard over the years, but I don't know how many other people have heard some of it. I've started to realize just because I've heard it doesn't mean you have. So I'm trying to let you know about it. Dear Fix-It Shop, I got two questions. That's not what he says exactly. Two questions. First, I've always thought the exclusion of Ken Berry, Hocal, Arlene Galanka, and others from the Return to Mayberry was conspicuous. Does anyone know why they didn't participate? Second, what happened to Mayberry's mayors? In the last mention of a mayor is in the episode The Canon, number 172. In the last Andy Griffith Show season and during Mayberry RFD, it is implied that Mayberry no longer had a mayor, or that as head of the town council, Sam Jones was the de facto mayor. Is this so, or did I miss something? This is from Brent over in New Jersey. Brent. All right, so here's our answer. The reason the actors you mentioned and others weren't included in the Return to Mayberry was primarily because there were already a great many characters in the movie, far more than for any other episode previous in Mayberry. Look at the list of major characters. They had Andy, Helen, Opie, plus a wife and a new baby, Barney, Thelma Lou, Goober, Gomer, Howard Sprague, Six Darlings, Ernest T. Bass, Otis, and even the voice of Aunt Bee. That's not to mention the new bad guy played by Paul Wilson, sheriff candidate Ben, and Richard Lineback, the scheming hotel owner. Plus, the movie also included Rance Howard as the minister and Karen Knotts playing Opie's assistant. It was cumbersome for the writers. The legends, Harvey Bullock and Everett Greenbaum, to include all of those characters without having the complication of having to figure out a way to smoothly shoehorn in even more, including other RFD characters such as Buddy Foster and others. Okay, so that's the reason why there were not more people. Okay, Buddy Foster, by the way, was no longer an actor. He was Mike Jones, and Andy Taylor Jr., who would have been about 18 years old at the time of the movie. He's not on there either. Okay. But the producers figured that most of the general public wouldn't even remember the characters like Andy Jr., and that viewers would understand that simply because of script and budget constraints, some memorable citizens and visitors of Mayberry couldn't be included. As for your second question about the mayor, that character was essentially phased out for some of the same reasons. That some of the characters were not included in Mayberry or returned to Mayberry. Richard Kelly has an interesting discussion about the mayors in his outstanding book, The Andy Griffith Show. He quotes executive producer Sheldon Leonard as saying, "They, Pike and Stoner, weren't enough to us to be put on a continuing contract basis. So they had no valuable function on the show. People with a valuable function were those who created complications for Andy." Dr. Kelly disagrees somewhat with Sheldon Leonard. He writes that the majors, quote, did create the mayors, I should say, quote, did create problems for Andy, and their function did appear valuable. On the other hand, there were just so many actors a producer could put on a continuing contract. Artistically, the mayor is as important an ingredient for the town of Mayberry. But in terms of a long-term television production, sometimes art must be bent to economic realities. And that's the way it goes. The bottom line was that Barney, Gomer, Otis, Goober, Floyd, not to mention Helen Crump and Thelma Lou and Aunt Bee and Opie, could provide more interesting and varied problems on a regular basis than a mayor. Also, the character of county clerk Howard Sprague came to represent some of the civil service bureaucracy that the mayor had in the show's early years. But by not holding the top office, Howard was given the freedom to have many other dimensions to his character. And while the mayor and Andy could parallel and sometimes be conflicting leaders of Mayberry, vote-conscious politicians versus wise sheriff, if Sam Jones had to deal with the mayor on Mayberry RFD, it would have represented too direct of a conflict, and it would have been harder to portray Sam as distinctly a people's leader. RFD might have been in danger of becoming a show just about Sam versus the mayor. Plus, from a storytelling standpoint, the character of the mayor had already been written out by the time Sam Jones came along, and it would have been problematic to reintroduce a mayor after an extended absence. Boy, I can't talk today. Folks, that's just some of the things that if you had a chance to be a part of back in the day from Emmett's Fix-It Shop Talk. They're still there, and hopefully I'm going to go through some old issues of the Bullet and see if we can't come up with some more questions and answers like this, because I believe these are fun and interesting. At least I think so. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. So until next time, I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to hear your questions and answers and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear them. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@mayberry.com or drop by twochairsnowaiting.com and leave a question there. I'd love to have questions like this to be able to try to answer. Or even better, if you ask questions that Jim Clark's already answered, it'd be a lot easier for me. Now, folks, hey, I do appreciate you. I'd love to hear from you. It's always fun to try to answer questions and hear questions and answers like this. So if you have questions about the Andy Griffith Show, even if you think they're silly, I'd love to hear them, because if you think that's a question that needs answering, so does somebody else. So, folks, until next time, we'll see you then right here on Two Chairs. All right, folks, we are clear. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's see how the chat room is doing. The chat room is still visiting with one another. So, poison oak. Somebody has poison oak in here. You can't get that through the internet, can you? And so, all right, let's see what else is going on. We got long drives to Mount Airy. So we got Mount Airy coming up next week. We're going to be up in the Mayberry meetup that we've been planning for weeks and weeks. Folks are going to be there. Let me see if I can pull this up. We have a lot of folks planning on being at the meetup. Let me see. I've been set the registration thing. I'll tell you guys some of the ones that are coming. And if you can't come, I completely understand that. But if you're going to be able to try to make it, I'd love to hear from you. Jan's asking me a question over here on the side while I'm trying to talk to y'all. She's wanting to use the microwave. All right. So we have, it looks like, at least 31 people coming. And I heard a couple of more, and I can't remember who they were now, that I was going to write down. So here's who I know is coming. All right. So all you guys that are in the chat room will have an idea, and hopefully several of you I know are. So that's great. So let's say we got Steve and Kathleen. They're going to be there. We got David Millard and his wife, I believe. We got Dick. He's coming. Goober Fife. Sandy and Dennis and Sarah Blaine. They're all coming. Got Ken Junkin. Otis. He's going to be there with us. Got Roger Richard. He's going to be there. I got Adrian Ramey, Donna Sanders, and a friend. Didn't tell me who, but they're coming. Let's see here. We got Adam Davis, Alma Venable. She's going to be there. Of course, she's at the Mayberry Motor Inn. She's the owner there, but she's going to be there with us. We got the Miles that run Mayberry on Main. They'll be there as well. So that's going to be great. You're going to be able to see all of those guys. We got Michael Lowry and Dennis Bill. They're going to be there at least one night. Bobby Butler, Kyle Butler, and Janet Butler. They're all going to be there. So it's going to be good to see those guys. We got Jane and Jane Hinckley. I'm not sure. I assume Mr. Hinckley's going to be coming with her. We got Colin, Sandy, and Ray Watkins. I believe they're coming. And I think Stan and Lisa, they may be coming too. I don't know. Or they're in the chat room. Maybe they can tell me. I'd heard a rumor that they were coming. So, folks, I hope you guys will be able to make it there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody can be there. So that just listed off 31 people. And I believe there's at least a few others that I've heard from in the last week or so here that told me they were coming. So we're going to have, I don't know, we're going to have 30, 40 people there. So we got out last night. We got out and tested our setup. Patty's her name. Thank you, Kathy. I need to write Patty's name in here. I didn't know her name. So it's Patty. All right. And so I got out last night. Jan and I got out and tested the video projector setup that we have. The last couple of years, we've been using a smaller screen. And this year, we're going to have a bigger screen. It's not going to be super bright, but it should be plenty good enough to watch out there at the gazebo. And that's my favorite part of the whole thing, is sitting around in the gazebo and visiting with each other. So it is absolutely the best. So we will be there, but you'll have to call us a liar on the early part. Hey, we'll accept anybody. There's some folks only coming in on Saturday. Some will be there on Sunday or Friday only. And I completely understand. I don't think I listed Mr. Wheeler. Did I miss Mr. Wheeler? Did I mention him? Yeah, he's going to be there. Mr. Wheeler. I don't think I had you down on my list. So there's another couple of people. Pat and Neil Coleman are only going to be there Friday morning, so they're not going to be able to be a part of any of the stuff we're doing in the afternoons, but they're going to be around. So if you get to see them, that would be awesome. Let's see who else is coming here. So that's Mr. Wheeler. I didn't have him listed. Too far to go. Come on up, church. Anyway, I completely understand. And I've been talking to some folks that we've been doing these in Mount Airy, and that's great. But it is a long way from other people. So what we're trying to do is come up with maybe Nashville, something we could do in Nashville one year. Doesn't mean we can't do both. It's a possibility I could do 2 of these in a year, which would be kind of neat. If we could do something in Nashville and to do something in Mount Airy later in the year. You'd have to do Nashville earlier or something, do it earlier in the year. Anyway, that's a thought. So you guys have to tell me what you think about that. But that's a possibility. We could have if we do that, we're going to have to come up with some activities we can do in different cities that are Mayberry related. Okay. So we have to come up with things to do, that would make it be a Mayberry event other than us just getting together like we have. But I also definitely want to think about where could we do it if we did that. So what city, if we did it in Nashville, for instance, where would we have our get-togethers at night? Things like that. So we need to figure that out as we go. So you guys be thinking, Mount Airy is 9 hours away from me. So you guys that are complaining, unless you're further than that, which some of you are, you just have to jump in the car and start driving. So, all right. So let's see. Mr. Wheeler's on this one. That's good. I did not have him listed. So I now have him listed. There's another that we have. All right. So let's see here. Jane was asking me about the location or the email. She lost her email about the Mayberry meetup. Shame. She actually deleted it. Didn't just lost it. She deleted it. So, you can go over to the 2 Chairs No Waiting webpage. If you go there, and it's right there on the page. If you go to notes, you'll see it, and it tells you all the same information. So I'm going to give you a link here. I'm going to put this link in into the page. Boom, there you go. So that's a link to the meetup information and everything about the schedule that will be going on. So folks, I do want to mention this. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. This right here, I can't zoom in right there. Let's see. Where can I get it bigger? Still can't read it. So this information here, if you have a phone, if you have a cell phone, I want to encourage you to sign up for this. If you're not like Goober Fife and it costs you 20 cents for every text. If your texts are free, if your texts are free, I want you to sign up for this messaging thing. So when you're there, even if you can't come, you can sign up for it. It doesn't cost anything unless you have to pay for text messages, but you can get a running thing from me about what's going on at the Mayberry meetup. So if you're there, I'm going to be telling you, hey, we're here. Hey, we're delayed. This is not going to happen at exactly what time I said it would, or we're right on the schedule. Okay. So if you can get text messages, sign up. All you got to do is send a text message to the number 81010 and put the message in the text of @MayMU. So it's Mayberry Meetup @MayMU. And when you do that, it'll sign you up to get text messages from me that'll be about this one thing. Okay. That's all it'll be about. So let's see what's Goober down here saying. Floyd, I put it on my schedule. Okay, good. He's got his schedule on his iPad, so he can carry it around with him and working on an upgrade. Hey, don't feel too bad. It wasn't that many years ago. I had a flip phone. Well, it wasn't a flip phone. It slid, and I couldn't get text messages very well either. So I completely do understand that. But if you can get text messages and they don't cost you anything, I want to encourage you to consider doing text messages so I can keep up with you and you can keep up with everything that's going on, because it'll just make it easier for everybody. All right. So now that we've got all that beat out of the way, Mayberry Meetup starts on Friday. Thursday night, I should be there Thursday. So me and Otis will be there on Thursday at some point. Who knows? We may sit around out there Thursday night and watch some episodes too if we ain't got anything better to do. Or if we got enough people to sit out there and watch them with us. Or we may just do it in somebody's room if it's too hot. So bring a fan if you're coming. Bring a fan. I'm going to bring a fan, but if you have a fan, we could use it. I got a pretty big fan, and it'll blow air for us. But if we had a couple of fans out there, it might help. Bring something to eat, bring snacks, bring Cokes, anything you want to drink or eat. You might want to bring it with you just so you'll have extras, and we can have all that ready to go. Okay, so let me get
TV shows just more numerous.
Let me get this ready for you here. So we're going to watch now. We're going to watch episodes about Colonel Tim's. So this is Colonel Tim's from 2000 and what year? 2005. So let me get this on the front here. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Whoops. That's not right. Let me fix that. There we are. So let's watch a little bit with Floyd and see what's going on. So here we go.
We can even mention, and he's been here at Mayberry Days for several years now, and he's just part of the family. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Mayberry's own Jim Lindsay, Mr. James Best. Yeah.
All right, we're going to prove it once and for all. Everybody, did you really play that guitar on the Andy Griffith Show? Remember that? Bobby Fleet and the Band of the Beat. Rock and Roll Rosie from Raleigh. Before I start, I got to tell you, on my way up here from Florida, I stopped through Georgia, and I have a friend down there named Bubba. Bubba's a character. I mean, I go to see Bubba. Now he's back in the sticks. I mean, it's in the country, and he was just jumping up and down with excitement, you know. And I thought, oh, how wonderful it is that he was so glad to see me. It wasn't me at all. He had just mowed his front lawn and found his pickup truck. Oh, Bubba, you know, I think he had bad eyesight. He married a woman that was ugly. Now that's naughty to say someone was ugly. Well, I remember the first time I saw her, standing there with the wind whipping through her crew cut. She was fairly religious. She joined the church and wanted to sing in the choir. And they wouldn't let her because she had so many cavities in her teeth, she sang with an echo. I'm digressing. Well, not serious, you know. You don't have the teeth. All right. Now, rock and roll, Rosie. This is not my guitar. You know, this I borrowed. In fact, this thing is about to choke me to death here. I don't know if I can. I've got to tell you another thing. Can I have a little time? Okay. I'm not a good singer. I found out I was adopted while I was doing a show. I found out that the Everly Brothers were my first cousins. And I don't know why I can't sing, but I did write some lyrics. I was under contract with Gene Autry at one time at Challenge and 4-Star Record Company, and I wrote a song. I did a lot of westerns, Audie Murphy and Jimmy Stewart, a lot of westerns, and I love westerns. So I wrote a lyrics for a song, and I'm going to get serious for a second. It's a serious song. I heard somebody laughing there. This is serious. Now, picture this. This young cowboy now has been a horse thief, and they catch him, and they're going to hang him. Now they build a scaffold, 13 steps to doom. And the young man climbs the steps, and the hangman comes out and takes the rope and puts it around the young man's neck. Now, there's a tremendous crowd gathered from the town. They didn't have television. This was the only entertainment that they had. So they're all looking and watching. And just as he's about to hang the young man said, wait. And he sang this song. Hangman, hangman, slack your rope, slack it for a while. I think I see my mother.
All right, I've had it. That's it, hold it right there. Well, I don't think you're going to sing Rock and Roll Rosie from Raleigh. I don't think you were ever going to sing Rock and Roll Rosie from Raleigh. And I don't think you will sing Rock and Roll Rosie from Raleigh. You're a nut.
Let me tell you something. She told me I had to get off because I had a limited amount of time and I can't sing the song, and these people wanted to hear it.
But that wasn't a song.
What was the lyrics?
The what?
The lyrics.
What's a lyric?
Here, look, listen. Don't boss me around anyway.
Look, buddy, I'm the only lawman in this building, and I'm bossing you around. You're a nut. That's your problem.
Listen, I've warned you about this. Now, you're trying to stay right here just a second. Just one bloody second here.
Think I made that?
We're going to mess with Rush. Ooh, people.
What is this?
Who is it? I'm your superior officer, and you ought to know it because I'm a full sheriff, and you're nothing but a deputy.
That's right, deputy.
Who are
Deputy.
you?
Lovely.
What's your name?
Deputy Fife's the name.
Oh, deputy.
Tom Solomons McGann.
Listen, Deputy Piccolo.
Fine.
Sounds like Flash. All right, listen.
Wait a minute. What's your name?
I'll tell you my name, and don't forget. Here we go. Rush. Ooh, Country.
What in the world is a Roscoe B. Coltrane?
That'd be a sheriff in Hazard, and you ought to know about it. Listen, you would make a lousy deputy in Hazard.
Well, who said I wanted to go to Hazard? I'm happy right here in Mayberry.
Oh, you wouldn't even know the protocol of calling on a CB.
What's a CB? Oh, you mean like a two-way?
Two-way.
Oh, yeah, 10-4 inch. I'm already 10-4 Jeep. Feels good to get it in first once in a while.
All right, I'm going to test it.
Test?
Yes. Do this. This is Roscoe P. Coltrane calling his own fat buddy. You got your own? Good.
This is Roscoe B. Coltrane. Calling his fat little buddy.
Don't encourage
Wait a minute.
What?
You're testing me, I'm testing you.
Oh, good
Try
grief.
this one out, big boy.
Get on with it.
Try this one. You know, Andy, give them 30, they'll take 35. We gotta nip it.
Andy, I don't care if you're a size 35. I want you to nip it.
Now let's complete it here. Nip it. Nip it in the bud.
Oh, good grief. All right, I'll try. Do I have to do the St. Vitus dance to do it? All right. Stick it in the mud.
All right, now wait a minute. I gotta get this Roscoe thing done. I gotta do it. Give me one more. I believe I got it.
All right.
I believe I got it.
Oh, I love Hot Pursuit.
Like a hot press suit.
He wins. I can't put up.
Wait a minute, James. Come on, James Best, ladies and gentlemen. hoping I was up today, James. Do you have to leave? Hey, James. Oh, James, do you have to leave?
Oh, good grief, yes.
I just wanted to get you just a little bit more love out here.
Oh, goodness.
I want to tell you something. I've been working at different events.
Don't touch my young.
I have been working at different events over the past 6 or 7 years with James Bass. I've been working, he has not. But I want to tell you something. This man is so gracious and loves to entertain. He welcomes anybody who is interested in performing. He brings them on board. He gives them everything they need. And I love this man, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, sir.
James didn't have a chance to do it because we were going to do this little skit, but would you do me a great favor? Would you share at least one of your stories about working with our mutual favorite actor?
Jimmy Stewart.
Yes.
So, I love this man. He was my icon. And Mr. Stewart, I did 5 movies with him: Shenandoah, Fire Creek, Mountain Road, Winchester 73, and so on. Jimmy Stewart flew combat in World War II. He flew 23 combat missions. And he came out full colonel, and he did so much for the war effort that they made him a general by an act of Congress. Well, we were up in Phoenix, Arizona, making a movie, and he had to fly back to Washington to get his star. And while he was gone, we couldn't shoot anything because you don't shoot anything without Mr. Stewart, because he's the star of the show. So while he's gone, I'm bored up in my hotel room. I bore easy. So I called down to room service and I imitate Mr. Stewart. And I did this. Is this room service? They said, yes, sir. Well, this is Mr. Stewart. They said, yes, Mr. Stewart. Oh, let me ask you, do you have any wine? And they said, well, yes, sir. We have wine. He said, well, I just don't mean just any wine. The French. The French have good wine. They said, oh, yes, we have very fine French wine. He said, well, send a bottle up to Mr. Best's room. Let me get 2. God love him. And I don't steal from anybody. When Mr. Stewart came back, I said, Mr. Stewart, I copied your voice a little bit, and I got 2 bottles of very fine French wine. And he said, well, who's going to pay for that? Thank you,
Mr. James Bass. We love you, James. Wow. What a gracious man. What a delightful person. Oh, my goodness. Isn't this fun? It's fun. Let's see. Who's next? Oh. Boy, you don't do that. I got to calm down here. We've got major stars here. Has anybody seen Charlene running around this weekend? Yeah. She's here. She's here. It really gives me a great deal of pleasure.
All right, folks. I tell you what, we're going to hold that off for next time. So we'll pick this up right where we are at about the 13-minute mark. If everybody can remind me, 13:30. And we'll hear from Maggie Peterson, it looks like, who was coming up next. Hope you enjoyed that with James Best. Wow. James was absolutely amazing. Rascal and Ask in the chat room, were we having a podcast next week? There will be no podcast live on Monday night. So there probably won't be a podcast at all next week because I'll be traveling back from the Mayberry meetup. We're staying through Sunday night. So I'll be heading back on Monday morning or some point on Monday. So I doubt I'll be able to get home in time to actually do a podcast episode. But if I do, and I'm physically able after driving, 9 hours, 8.5 or 9 hours, I will put out a note on Facebook about it. Either way, I'll let people know. I think I've already listed it in the calendar as not having an episode next week. So don't plan on one. But the next episode we're going to do, by the way, let's see, do I have it here with me? We're going to talk about we're going to talk about Clint Howard. Since Clint Howard and Barbara Eden are going to be at Mayberry Days this year, I thought it'd be a good time to do a biography on the two of them. I found one for Clint, and I'll have to look around and see if I can find a good one for Barbara Eden. All right, folks. I hope to see you guys this weekend up at Mount Airy at the Mayberry Meetup. Looking forward to sitting around out of a gazebo and visiting with everybody. So we've got, we've got 30 to 40 people heading to this thing. So it's going to be a big deal. Bring a lawn chair. Everybody bring their lawn chairs with you. I'm going to send another email later tonight or in the morning or sometime tomorrow, reminding you, bring your lawn chairs, bring things that are cool. If you have one of those towels that you snap, it's supposed to be cold. When it's cooler, bring it. We're going to get us some ice. We'll try to cool things off as best we can, but just be ready to have fun. And we're going to bring our citronella candles and everything we had last year, and that seemed to work pretty well. Mr. Wheeler's got to drive his 55 minutes. Poor thing. Wow, an hour. If I lived an hour, that would be absolutely amazing. So I don't know if we'll be able to go to Pilot Mountain or next week because Mr. Wheeler mentioned it's been closed recently, the state park. So we may not be able to go there. So we'll check on that and see what we can do. I did find out in the Who's Been Messed Up the Bulletin Board Digest, they told us that on Saturday they're going to have a cruise in there in Mount Airy with a bunch of old cars and stuff coming in there. So Mr. Wheeler, you might want to keep that in mind. You bring your car or something. I don't know. Anyway, just letting you guys know about it. And folks, thank you again for coming out and being part of the show this evening. And we'll see you guys next time right here on Two Chairs No Waiting, your Mayberry podcast. Guys, have a great week and great until we get back together again. We'll definitely have a report about the Mayberry meetup coming up, and we'll be recording some stuff during the meetup as well, I'm sure, to talk to each other. So, folks, have a great week. We'll see you very soon. Be watching the Facebook page for pictures. We'll be posting photos there. See you next time, guys.